the Juice Radio Talk Show. Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Clovis, special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcast. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
Well, hello, everybody, and good Saturday evening to all of you. Listen, y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let's have a collaborated conversation here tonight with the beautiful Diva.
Hey.
Listen, y'all, I have loved Diva since day one when I met her on another panel. And let me tell you, she is the absolute best. But what I really love most about Diva is her willingness to share valuable information. Now, today, y'all saw the article. Y'all saw what was going on over there. Listen, we need to get into this conversation, Diva. So, y'all, everybody, hello, beautiful Diva. How are you? Come on, girl. What's going on, girl?
Hey. Listen, first of all, thank you so much for this collaboration. I think it's just a blessing that we can come together like this, especially on this particular topic. This topic is just, I think it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to change the way that we, when we go pick up our medications, what we do, how we interact with our different healthcare providers. It's an important conversation to have. And you know what? I'll throw on the side note, a show on Netflix that will change your whole entire life, and it's called Painkillers. If you watch that show on Painkillers, I literally almost fell off my seat. It just tells you the whole opioid epidemic, just how people was getting, hooked on these painkillers, from the way the pharmaceutical companies was pushing it, and then the doctors started pushing it. Just so sad, and that's why I'm really glad to have this conversation today with you.
It is. It's a lot. Now, y'all get ready. Like Diva say, y'all get your tickets over there. All y'all in the chat, get your tickets now. Over here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show, we ask you just to ring the doorbell. Just click the like button over there, all right? Click that thumbs up button over here. And if you haven't subscribed to both of our channels, they're in the description of this video. Subscribe to both. We out here loving each other. Now, let's let some people in here because, you got some guests. You got some guests over here, Diva. You got some guests now. Hey, Dustin.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, y'all. Hey,
Yes,
Dustin. Hey, Diva. Hey, Juice Radio. Thank you so much for letting me in. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate you for being here. And if you who are watching would like to join this conversation on panel, we got a few seats left. So go ahead, hit that button over there. It's pinned on both of our channels at the top link. If you don't see it, I'll go ahead and drop it again for those of you that would love to join on panel. Diva, let's go ahead and get this conversation started. And hello to everybody. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Jill's Chocolate was here bright and early. We're going to go ahead and say hello to beautiful Jill's Chocolate. Thank you so much. Rebels, how you doing, girl? Rebels, is that a guy or a girl? Rebels 42 win. Hey, Rebels, how you doing? Hey, Savannah, come on in here. Hello, Miss Wilson. How you doing, Miss Wilson? She's talking about choo-choo. Come on now. Come on. a faithful Diva writer. I love it. AT2. What up, my boy, AT2? Hey, Savannah.
Good evening, Miss Juice and Miss Diva and panel. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, y'all.
Hey, Bianca. Hello. Felicia, y'all say hello to Felicia. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and bring some more names up on the panel. Carolyn, how you doing? She said, ticket number 6. I'm ready to ride the train.
All right.
Hello, Miss Darnell Bible Bites. Thank you also for being here. Also, Raheem MC. Come on with the Raheem MC. I like that name. That is super good. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. Now, Diva, The reason why I wanted to really have this conversation with you is because I know you're in the medical field and I know you have a heart for the people.
Yes.
Now, when this article came across my stream, actually, my husband, he sends me a lot of stuff, for me to run. And there's so much information. I said, I need a partner for this one because this one really had my emotions on another level.
Mm-hmm.
This young lady, her name is Tamika Thomas, went to an incident where she was getting IVF. And during her trying to get the IVF, she went to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription. And the news article says the pharmacy accidentally gave her an abortion pill. Now, when I heard that, I said, my God, what do we need? We need to do something. So I contacted you and said, we need to talk to the people about their prescription, knowing what to look for, knowing what is important, not just picking up a prescription, putting it in your mouth without having some knowledge about what you're taking. There are steps that we can do. Now, unfortunately, this young lady, the situation was totally different. She did not know. She was just going based on what she thought her doctor prescribed her. And she thought the information that from her doctor going to the pharmacy, going to her was actually what her doctor prescribed. But the sad thing was the pharmacy gave her something totally different. What's your thoughts on this when I contacted you, Diva?
Whew, it's loaded.
Mm-hmm.
It's so loaded because I do understand, and I don't know if I wasn't in healthcare, if I would be really digging into so many things because we're all told that like you're born and raised, trust your doctor. If the doctor told you to do XYZ, that's what you need to do. If you don't mind, Juice, I want to share this video with everybody just to
please
give everybody a little insight into this young lady, where she's coming from with her thought process and actually what happened. So I'll go ahead and share screen.
Please.
This is it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if it comes up. There we go. And
how? That is the question we'll all be asking ourselves tonight.
And it is also the question our 8 News Now investigator Kyle Payne is asking after that woman's horrifying story was made public at a recent pharmacy board hearing.
First, a warning, some of you, our viewers, might find this story hard to watch. Kyle, it really is a shocking story that could happen to any of us.
Denise Bryan, the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency, says it receives 100,000 complaints a year about suspected medication errors. We met Tamika Thomas just a few days ago, a few years after she went into a CVS in North Las Vegas. She got medication she thought was going to help make her pregnant, but the pharmacy got it all wrong.
I don't come from a big family, so I wanted to make sure I had a big family.
Tamika Thomas loves her big family. She has 4 beautiful, healthy kids and wanted one more. She was having trouble getting pregnant back in 2019 and more trouble when she had to have her fallopian tubes removed after 2 dangerous pregnancies. But she wanted to fight to grow her family. The fight you ended up having
was a fight that I would have never imagined I would be fighting.
The fight, it turns out, is against CVS, this branch in North Las Vegas in particular. She went in there to get prescriptions to help jumpstart her in vitro pregnancy. She went home, took the medication, and started to cramp.
Cramping is, a norm, but my cramping went beyond that. It was extreme. It was painful.
So painful, she knew something was wrong. Expecting a drug that would trick her body into thinking it was pregnant, she checked the bottle. And your life changed that day. 2 CVS pharmacists who ended up in front of the pharmacy board had made a handful of errors filling Tamika Thomas's prescriptions. They ended up giving her a drug meant to terminate the pregnancy for which she had fought so hard.
They did exactly the opposite of what I was trying to do.
Not okay.
Not at all.
I understand people make mistakes, but that mistake took something from me.
Thomas gave heart-wrenching testimony to the Nevada State Board of Pharmacy, which sanctioned these 2 pharmacists with unprofessional conduct and failure to adequately supervise the 2 technicians that made the original mistakes. The board says someone at the pharmacy should have called the doctor because nobody at CVS could read these prescriptions. And then one of the pharmacy techs guessed wrong, entering a generic prescription name, which is the exact opposite of the brand name the doctor prescribed. Then the board says the pharmacist failed to counsel the patient on what would happen when she took this drug, misoprostol, better known as the abortion pill, which destroyed those 2 embryos and broke something deep inside Tamika Thomas.
And all I got was a sorry.
Not good enough.
It will never be good enough.
A CVS spokesman mentioned that apology in a statement to the 8 News Now investigators. It says, "We've apologized to our patient for the prescription incident that occurred in 2019 and have cooperated with the Nevada Board of Pharmacy in this matter. Prescription errors are very rare, but if one does occur, we take steps to learn from it in order to continuously improve quality and patient safety."
Well, I would object to an open question like that.
But CVS's attorney repeatedly distanced himself from the pharmacist, both at the hearing table and in defense of his client.
To suspend or to take action against a pharmacy license when they really didn't do anything wrong, wasn't pledged that they did anything wrong. The only allegations are that they had these pharmacists.
And he pointed his fingers right at the pharmacist and said they did it.
Correct.
What did you think of that?
I felt like that was not okay because he should have took initiative for the company as a whole.
For his part, the attorney for CVS told the 8 News Now investigators he stands by what he told the pharmacy board and has no additional comment. But for Tamika Thomas, it does not end there.
There's not enough that I can say. There's not enough therapy. There's not enough medication that'll take the thoughts away, that'll take the pain away.
The pharmacy as a whole was fined the maximum under the statute. That's $10,000. At least one of those pharmacists no longer works for CVS, and they both got fined and are essentially on probation for a year.
So, Kyle, I mean, obviously there was the fine. One of them looked somewhat remorseful there in front of the pharmacy board. So we're wondering, does Tamika Thomas sue now? What's her next?
So far, no lawsuit. This woman had to work through quite a bit in order to even be able to talk about this with me and go before the board. And I know she'd like to sue, but this happened 4 years ago. And in most cases in Nevada, the statute of limitations is 3 years.
And Kyle, we saw in your story there, CVS apologize. Did the pharmacist apologize?
Yes, they both did. And tomorrow we'll see their apology and we'll investigate how and why some of these mistakes get made.
Okay, Kyle.
Woo. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. That's a lot. There are so many valuable tips in there. Diva, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Let's go ahead and have this conversation. And I want to say hello to Felicia for coming in. Hey, Felicia, thanks for joining the panel. Hey. Diva, let's have this conversation.
Oh, well, you seen in the video how they said really quickly that either way, the pharmacy was supposed to educate her on the medication that she was given, and that education would have then probably prevented the tragedy, because she would have been like, wait a minute, that's not what I was supposed to get. So I open up by saying this. It's sad. I don't know what took so long for her to speak out or whatever. So now she's at the point where she can't even sue CVS. That CVS lawyer was a piece of work, but on the flip side, he was doing what he's supposed to do, protecting his client, the company, and not the pharmacist. I'm also very sad and disappointing. I felt the one pharmacist's pain. Because you could tell she was very remorseful. But I want to say this as we get ready to go around to our panelists that are here. I want to say this to everyone out there. When you go to the pharmacy and you're going to pick up a med, a lot of them are trying to be slick now because they're rushing and they bypass it. They're supposed to educate you, even though your doctor already did, before they give meds. They're supposed to say, okay, you have this antibiotic. Do you understand you're supposed to take it twice a day? Do you understand you're supposed to take it with food, or whatever the directions are? And every single med that they're about to get to you, they're supposed to educate you on that med, how to take it, when to take it, and when to report any signs and symptoms to your doctor. In addition to that, you can decline the education if you know, but a lot of them, what they're telling you on that little pad, they're like, oh, just sign, and they're acting as if you're signing just to get the med, which is a lie, because I think I was telling Juice when she called me about this story. I said, listen, one time I was in the pharmacy and I was standing in a line watching as I was waiting to pick up some meds. And I see them just telling the people, oh, just sign that you got the meds, sign that you got the meds, sign that you got the meds. When I got up there, I said, what am I signing for? Oh, you're signing that you got the med. I said, now you know that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I watched you do with the people behind me. You know that's not right. You're supposed to be educating me about this med. I said, you're lucky I happen to know about the med.
Mm-hmm.
But what about all of these people that don't? And had you educated this young lady on the med, she would have been like, that's not what my doctor, I'm trying to have a baby, not in the baby's life.
2 embryos. Two.
Very sad. Heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking.
Yes.
We could go to Leo.
Go ahead, Leo Arias. What's your thoughts on this?
My heart is broken for this woman. My heart is broken for her and her family. I also do, and until Diva said this, that you're supposed to be educated at the pharmacy, I've had that happen. Mostly on all the meds that I pick up, or anytime I've had a med that I will have to pick up, my prescription I would have to pick up. They will educate me, and I'm so grateful because you know what? One time I was going to pick up something, and my doctor, she had told me it was supposed to be this percentage of dosage, and girl, they gave me the wrong percentage of dosage, and my eyes ain't that good. And if I would never have even read the bottle, right? But the pharmacist was telling me the percentage of the dosage, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not what my doctor said. It was supposed to be this, and this. And I said, the price is wrong because for this amount, well, whatever. But anyway, the fact that I got the education, I'm now more appreciative than ever that for one, that my pharmacist takes the time to tell me what it is that they prescribing to me. And then number 2, I'm still going to read the bottle when I get it.
Yes. Now, Southern Belle has a great question. Then we're going to come over to Robin. Southern Belle says, what's the name on the bottle before she took the meds? Now, according to this news article, it did state that, let's see, when dispensing medicine, Thomas told the pharmacist didn't review what happened or what was expected or with the mesoprostol. So I think they have the name on there, but they have the wrong name. And I'm going to say allegedly until I can get more.
The name was on there, but you know, she just didn't think. Like if I go to pick up an antibiotic and that's what I got, I'm thinking I got the antibiotic. Let me take it twice a day. Like I said, I'm different because I work in the field, but before I worked in the field, I wasn't so like, okay, you said I need to be on this antibiotic 7 days and I got to take it twice a day. I was a little more looser with just really paying attention to the names on the bottle and all of that. She looked after she got real sick.
She did.
She looked after she got real sick. And then that's, you know, when tragedy just went left from there. And you see, she still has the bottle to this day. And you saw the tears in her eyes still as she's looking at the bottle, like, you know, she just can't even believe it.
Yes, because that's showing exactly what it's like. She's still looking at it as this is what took the lives of those 2 embryos. That's the part. Robin, what's your comments on this? And thank you for being here today.
Good evening. Please, I beg your indulgence because I kind of fell asleep. I've been waiting to talk about this all day since you posted this, Juice, Regina. But I have to say this. And again, I literally just woke up and just like tapped in. When I saw this, I was trying to find out where's the lawsuit that this woman has against the CVS. And then it hit me and it struck me, as tragic as this is, what responsibilities does this woman have? Because I'm at my doctor and my doctor tells me that they're prescribing a medication for me. And if I am present and listening, the doctor tells me that they're giving me a suppository, but I'm taking a pill. It was a red flag for me. And it was so tragic that it seemed to me that this woman didn't seem to have transferred and taken the information from her physician through the pharmacy. Now, for me, I have a few medications that I take daily. And in as much as I take them, I literally swear to you, I always read the inserts. When I have to take this allopurinol because of my arthritic conditions, I don't know why, it's the ism that I have, but I read the inserts. And so I was really taken aback by this woman. And the one thing I didn't figure out is if this was a new prescription for her. And so I found that very disturbing. But the biggest red flag for me in this tragedy is that it seemed to me that there was a problem with the fact that the patient did not really absorb, take in, and understand that the doctor prescribed a suppository versus a pill. And that is very troubling to me.
Now that's interesting. That's interesting part too. And those pamphlets, a lot of people, what they do when they get those pamphlets, they throw them away. They don't read them. They trash them. Now, this is the name of the medication on the screen here that she was prescribed, misoprostol, if I'm saying that correct. And if you Google, and this is another tip that I want you all to do, everyone that's viewing, when you get a prescription, something that you're not familiar with, if it's a new prescription or something, I want you to start Googling, what is it used for? Because this would have helped her in this instance. It says right here in Google, misoprostol is a synthetic prostaglandin E. Let's skip down. And it says, including medication. This is what it used for a variety of things. And it's in the practice of obstetrics and gynecology, including medication abortion, medical management of miscarriage, induction of labor, cervical ripening before surgical procedures, and so on. I'm sure if she would have had this information to say, listen, we are going to Google what this is because this is something new, that red flag that said abortion would have flagged her not to take it. I'm not blaming her, but I want us to protect ourselves also. The pharmacy made the mistake by giving her this. This is not her fault. The pharmacy did that, but we have to take extra measures to protect ourselves. Leo, did you have something to say? Go ahead, Diva.
So here's the thing, right? In the medical field, we're the professionals, right?
Yes.
So they had pharmacy tech there too, because what happened was the actual pharmacist, if you heard and was listening to the news thing, the actual pharmacists didn't even do the meds. What happened, everybody's overworked these days, right? And that's no excuse, but the techs will go, whether they're overworked or not. The pharmacist is not physically filling every single medication for every prescription that comes to the pharmacy. They have pharmacy techs, but they didn't oversee the pharmacy techs like they was supposed to properly, right? So, and this woman has a family, she has kids, and I get it, right? So you got all these kids, you think you went to the pharmacy, you picked up your right med, it's time to take your med, you click it in your mouth, you put the kids to bed, whatever the case may be, and then you have this extreme cramping, and you like, oh my goodness, what, let me look at it. Now you're looking at it. She looked at it after the fact. I know so many people that do that. I know so many people that don't even take their meds right, even after they heard the doctor and the pharmacist tell them how to take it. And then they come back to the office and they're like, oh, no, well, I did it at night, or I did it this time, or I did it that time, or whatever the case may be. But at the very best, she should have never, ever, ever gotten the wrong medication or the wrong dose. And that's a point blank in a period. That pharmacy had a duty to their patients, to their customers, and you have to oversee the techs. Listen, when I was a nurse in the hospital, I would tell them I'm not working with certain techs because they're lazy bums. And I'm not going to get a vital sign from a tech that is being sloppy and lazy on her job because this is my license. I need to know when you go in there to take that blood pressure, that temperature of that baby, that you got it right and that you actually did it. Not that you
Mhm.
is here, because every care that I do is based on the fact that you took that vital sign, that blood pressure, and you weighed that baby correctly, because weights matter when it comes to the pediatric population, because we base their medication on their weight. So my
Yeah.
thing is, you got these texts, you got to stand up, show up, and you got to oversee them. You over here, you bringing me the asthma medication. I'm going to double check it before I sign off on this and tell you it's okay to deliver to that patient. Yes, Aaron,
Mhm.
God bless you. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Erin is a pharmacy technician, and she's really. And I know this is probably one that she's like, what is going on? She really cares for her patients. I have great conversations with Erin on this. So Diva, I love all this information you gave me. Let's go on over down here to Felicia. Felicia, join us in this conversation. What's your comments on this?
Well, thank you, Juice, and good evening, everyone. You know,
Hello.
man, this story, this experience that this mother has had and father, this family, is really horrific. It caused, as you can see in the video footage, pain to the people who were doing the job, pain to this family, but clearly not to the corporation. They don't give a damn. And you know, one of the things that Diva had said, a word that she said that just is resonating with me, is that word care. Care, good care. So we're now in a society where people really don't have a personal interest in serving the public well, the private industry well, your neighbors well, your family. There's really a lack of care. So when I'm giving someone a prescription, maybe I'm getting $15 an hour, maybe I'm on a 14-hour shift. I'm thinking I got to get home, my feet hurt. Perhaps more so in the past when you didn't have non-well-trained people in these careers, people who really understood what they were doing and the consequences of it, they would take the time out to make sure without you having a signature. I can remember going to the pharmacist and they would take the time out and say, do you understand, without all this signing in. So that's gone. That's gone across the board. So when we now, as Juice said, we really have to take better care of ourselves. So this is telling me, oh yeah, you're going to get a prescription. You're going to read a label. You're not sure. You're going to call back to the doctor's office. Say, this is what I got. What am I to do again? Because often when many of us go to the doctor, there's an emotional component when we're there. So we really don't hear what's being said. We just really want to get out. We don't know what's going on. And so we're not recording in detail what is being told to us. But when we do get home, it is so valuable what you're sharing tonight. Look at that insert. Look at what the doctor said he was going to get and try to recall it and make sure you have what was given to you, because we know IVF is very expensive. It is very timely. It's a long, long process. And her grief is because of all the time she put in to ensure and all the joy. And within a couple of days, it was gone.
Thank you, Felicia. Beautifully said. I want to go down to this comment and then I'm going to come over to New York reviews. I don't know if I got New York reviews yet. Playful Cat said, so messed up. Even if the label is correct, that doesn't necessarily mean the medication inside is correct. We're going to cover that if we have time on this topic, because Diva and I sent Diva about 15 minutes before we went live of a situation, a news article that just hit the press of that exact thing that happened. New York News Reviews, what's your commentary on this?
Well, hi. Good evening. How you doing?
Hello.
Thank you. I love live streams on the weekends. I get a chance to call in.
Yes.
We love having you here.
Thank you. You know what? I think everybody said everything that I was feeling. I'm sorry. I think that everybody was saying what I feel. I think that especially in our community, especially the Black and Brown community, we already have a lot of issues when we go to the doctor. So we got to be extra vigilant when it comes to our healthcare. We also got to be our own health advocates. So my grandmother, who was a woman in her late 70s, she goes down to the pharmacy with her with a pill book. She has a book she got on Amazon, and it has pictures on the book. And whenever she gets the medication, she is able to look at the name and she can research right there. Because sometime in New York City, the lines are gonna be out the door after work. So at 5 or 6, people are very aggressive. Nobody want to be up there for 5 minutes at the line. People, hissing and feeling a certain way. So when you leave, personally, I don't take anything that I don't understand. So if it does give you side effects and stuff like that, that's definitely a time when I definitely will call the doctor. Because if you talk to them and they said it's not going to have all these issues, you're going to follow with them. But I Google everything I take. So I that's what I do. Because sometimes the name on the prescription might change if they're out of stock or if it's a generic or something changes. So you got to make sure that, what you're taking is what the doctor wants you to do. So I Google it. And my grandmother, she goes to the doctor to the pharmacy with a book in her hand that gives a picture and stuff like that. Yeah, and the only part of the story, it's a sad story, but I was confused that it took 4 years that she couldn't get some kind of, I don't know, some kind of sorry or some kind of discount or something. I mean, they didn't give her, nothing. I'm surprised there was no chance for her to sue the people in 4 years. So that was a surprise.
It was. And I was looking for information as to what happened. And right now, I don't have an article that explains why it took so long. So I'm just going to have to say, maybe I'm not even going to guess because we're on streaming live. So I'm just going to say I haven't found the information as to why that is. But it's now we know if something like this happens and you feel sick, you want to seek out some legal assistance before those 3 years are up, because maybe the lawyers team will have more information as to say, okay, let's start looking in this area and so forth. Yes.
Regina, I think I have an answer because I was thinking about it as well, because I wonder why there wasn't some kind of legal action. And I would imagine that it would be on the part of the pharmacy that their argument would be contributory negligence. They would probably argue that she had some hand in not doing her own due diligence by reading the label. So that might be what is the failure of.
She waited too long. She waited.
Not even.
The news story we played though said she waited too long. So I don't know why she waited too long. I think it's more than that, but I'm telling you because I'm saying I've been in the health field and people have sued before for getting the wrong. So CVS saying that, they could say that all they want, but you're responsible for the people you employ.
Right.
Agreed. But the thing is, but Diva and Regina, the thing is, we gave you this and we know we're wrong. We can admit that we're wrong. But what part do you have in if you come in for a prescription and they were 100% negligent? I think that the biggest thing against them is the fact that they skipped the counseling portion of this. But then once she got home, she didn't do her own due diligence by at least reading the label. Now
let me do this. I've got somebody in the comment. I'm gonna come back to you, Robin, and then Diva. I've got Aaron who's in the green room. New York News, would you mind if I dropped you in the green room, bring Aaron up, let her speak, and then bring you back?
Yes, I was actually going to leave too, but I just want to say one thing before I was going to say also, I think that in our community, we may want to sort of stick to people who we feel respect us and who's for us. So that's why I go to pharmacies that I've been to for a couple of years. I don't go to corporations because sometimes you get lost in the sauce over there. So if you can find a pharmacy you trust and you can work with them, I would go somewhere that you can feel a little more human contact, because other big pharmacies, it'd be like just a meat market basically. But I love the topic and I'll be down in the comments.
You can stay up. Someone gave up their space. I think Felicia did. Felicia, I think, gave up her space for you, Aaron. Y'all say hello to the beautiful Aaron. Hey,
Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
How are you? Aaron is our moderator over here, and she's in charge of our social media at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. She's also a pharmacist. Aaron, thank you for being here today. Aaron normally does not come on panels, so when I saw her down there, I said, okay, this is hitting her a whole different way. Aaron, welcome to the chat here, and thank you for being here. What would you like to add to this?
I like to add, I am in pharmacy. I've been a pharmacy tech for 20 years. And one thing, when I came from an independent to a chain. The one thing I looked at when I went from an independent to a chain, and a lot of people don't look at this, is how many times is a chain sued? I wanted to go with the least because I was offered different jobs from CVS, Walgreens, and then Walmart, which I chose Walmart because of the check and balances. One thing that we get the most complaints about is it takes longer to fill a script with us, but there's more checks and balances for this reason. People matter. So yes, I'm a company that people say we are the slowest to fill. We're the slowest for this reason. If you look, Walmart is one of the least sued companies because we have more checks and balances than anybody. So when I hear this, first, I'm really glad I did go with Walmart. But then second, I always look at it as in more depth, and I saw this earlier. So I wanted to look, this was one of the CVS's with cut hours. So those employees were overworked. They didn't have enough techs per hours, and their techs were cut hours. So these people are literally having one tech and one pharmacist. That's ridiculous in a store like CVS, which fills so many prescriptions. Tomorrow, I'll have one tech and one pharmacist. I will go in an hour before we open so that we are cleaned up when we open. The slowest day of the week, we only have that. And we only have that once in a while. We still usually have a couple techs. But just because we have somebody who had somebody pass away, there's not a choice. But because of that, we'll go in early to make sure that we are doing it the safest we can. And I always think of that when you're picking a pharmacy. Don't be afraid to go online in your area because you can. Any zip code, you can look up which places have been sued, how many times they've been sued, and go with the place that is the safest. So it may be an independent, it may be a chain, you don't know, but they do have those things available for people to look at. Because
wow, thank you for that valuable information. I'm sorry, say that again, Erin.
And the biggest compliment I've ever been given, because I was thinking about what Mel said, is that my Walmart, I'm in a city Walmart. I live in Philly. As a lot of people know, I live right outside Philly. It's called Delco. And we're a big company that we feel like a hometown because I know most of my customers' names before they even walk up. So that hit me really hard because I know my customers who are going through IBS. When I see their names come forward, that would click for me. Plus that, because I know my patients. I know the ones that are going through, because you know your patients after a while. You just do. These are not just my patients. These are my neighbors. These are my friends. Like, this is a community. You know the people that live around you. And so it would red flag, not only would our computer red flag because the drug would come up against an IBS drug, because the Walmart system does come up, it would alert the pharmacist, hey, she's on this drug, but she's on this. And then the pharmacist would have to initial that there was a medical reason or something like that, but we would have to contact the doctor and the patient because those two things would conflict. So that to me made me a little like uncomfortable with reading this because I also went and read the articles that were online. But how did it not alert their system? And how did it not alert, the people who show up to your store every day? These people. She's on IBS. She's coming pretty often to get those drugs. They're not dispensed a lot at a time. Usually insurances are very fussy about dispensing that. I'm sure that Chronicle Diva knows because those drugs are expensive. Insurance companies want to give out a little bit at a time in case it works. Then they don't have to pay the rest.
Yep.
Yes.
So
yes.
That would have red flagged me because you would, even if maybe you don't know their profile, they're picking up that drug often enough.
I love that. Thank you, Erin. And sometimes, like they said, like Erin said, they're shorthanded and all that, but it still does not negate what happened. And I felt bad for the one pharmacy lady that was crying because it looked to me like she was just distraught over this. I'm gonna come over. Thank you so much, Erin. You can stay on panel if you like. I'm gonna come on over to Dustin, and then I'm gonna come down to the next line there. Dustin, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's very sad. I think that CVS should have I know it's probably past the lawsuit time, but I think that she should be allowed to lawsuit even now, because I think that they should be held accountable and they should have gave her the right medicine and they should have done her job right. This is very
Mhm.
this is very upsetting because I know she had 2 embryos and that's a lot of work to do, IVF and stuff, and you do IVF and hopefully you get a good result. And this is a very sad result and everything, and this really upsets emotionally and emotionally it's very upsetting and very sad.
Yes, thank you so much. Wayne, I'm going to come down to you. Thank you, Dustin. Robin said this, and then I'm going to come down to Wayne. Robin said, if this is a new script, can we please address a suppository versus a pill? Diva, you want to handle that one?
Well, the suppository goes in one and the pill goes in the other, right? But the thing is, this woman was given several medications, and it doesn't address the list of whether this was a new one to her or not. But I just stand by the fact that even in the hospital, see, that's the danger too for a nurse. In the hospital, your first thing is the doctor will write the prescription, then it hits the pharmacy. But they tell us all the time, if the pharmacy don't catch you, you better. Why?
And that's the
You
reason why we want to have this.
administering the medication,
Mhm.
and you will get in trouble. So there's
Mhm.
all of those checks there. So I'm saying that you are the pharmacist. You're the last professional stop before that gets to the patient. So whether it was supposed to be a suppository or pill, and maybe she forgot or didn't remember, whatever the case may be, that ain't her issue. My issue is I'm about to pass this medication to you that could be deadly. That's why they wanted those EMRs, electronic medical records. That's why they want universal pharmacy, because what they don't want to happen is, because even with other medications, you can get, emergency room could have gave you one prescription and it might conflict with a prescription that your doctor gave you. But when you went in the emergency room, you forgot to tell them that you are on these XYZ medications. So that's why they're trying to get universal pharmacy charting, so that no matter where you got a drug from, it will bump up in the system and say, hold on, before you give Diva this blood pressure medication, she already has XYZ. Make sure you tell her, don't take that, take this, take the new one, or whatever the case may be. So my thing is, yeah, maybe the doctor told her you're getting a suppository, and then she got to the pharmacy, she got a pill, and maybe she forgot. Whatever is not her problem. The pharmacist was supposed to educate her, and then maybe it would have triggered something in her brain and say, you know what? But I thought my doctor said I was going to have to maybe perhaps stick something up my butt, not take a pill. They didn't educate her. They were wrong. They're the reason why her baby ain't here. And I need two of them, and I need somebody to pay, because it ain't right. It's
That's right.
On all
You're
levels.
absolutely right on all levels. Wayne, I'm coming to you. I want to get this comment here. Baby Queen said this when you were talking, Diva. She said, right, if we give the wrong meds as nurses, or if we give a drug that is adverse to the patient, we can get sued, or worse, lose our license. Wayne, come on down, Wayne. Tell us your thoughts on this, and thank you for being here.
Okay, I came a little late, but I got the gist of what's going on. Got a couple things. One, it's just ironic that we bring this up because a friend of mine back in January, same thing. I think it was either CVS or Walgreens gave her the wrong medicine. Okay, she took it, and somebody said that you got to do your part and read it. How many times you get somebody else's mail and you just open it up? Then you realize after you looked at it, like, oh, and you see somebody else's name on it. So it's easy to do. And just today, I had got some mail, some medicine that was, it wasn't available when the doctor sent it in. So the pharmacy mailed it to me. And I'm looking at all this medicine, and he gave me a little sheet. He wrote something on it when I went to him and everything. And I'm taking all this medicine, and then I looked on the sheet, which I thought all instructions like on the bottle or whatever. I'm taking all this medicine one time, and I looked at it. It says take this medicine in the morning, and then take this medicine in the evening. And I'm taking like all this medicine, and I just realized that, oh shoot, the medicine I got in the mail today, I just took it. It said take one, you know. But on a sheet of paper that the cardiologist gave me when I went on my last visit, he had wrote it on that. I just, you know, I just assumed that the information instructions on the bottle, if it say take one, you know, one a day, it didn't say in the morning or the evening. So I'm just kind of glad, you know, and then when I got it, because the medicine he gave me, I did like she said, Drew said, I went on and looked the medicine up to see what I said, because all this time I forgot what the medicine was for. So I had to actually look it up and see what does this treat. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I'm not even sure if I should have been taking all them pills at one time. I thought it was kind of strange, but I'm trying to be proactive and do what the doctor said, only to find out this sheet that it was handwritten. You know, oh, this medicine, blah, 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 take this. It was so much that I couldn't have remembered all that anyway. And I certainly didn't remember any times to take it. So yeah, you can be proactive, but a lot of times you get your medicine, you know, whatever if it's for pain or whatever, you don't read the name on it. You assume it's yours. You don't read the name on it. You just read the instructions on what to do.
Yes.
And they're responsible, because if they didn't give you the wrong medicine in the first place, you wouldn't have any issues. And this friend of mine almost died. She was on her way to go shopping with her daughter, but made a side trip to the hospital. And the doctor said, good thing you came, because she thought she was going back shopping.
Wow.
So you're right about reading that. At least reading them. I started reading what the medicine does, each medicine, because I've never been on a lot of medicine at once. So this was kind of new to me, you know. So I said, well, let me look, because I almost had a psychotic episode. It was a physician's assistant, and I was wondering, well, why isn't the doctor, you know, working with me? And all of a sudden, you know, she wrote all these prescriptions for all this medicine, and I'm like, well, I guess the doctor knows best. I was up 4 o'clock in the morning, damn near ran out the house, screaming. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you know, and so I had enough sense to think, okay, like, what have I done different? I just had to just kind of like, you know, process of elimination. I said, what have I done different? I've never felt like this. So I started looking up all the medicine that the physician assistant gave me. And when I read one of them where it said something about psychotic episode, feelings of suicide, I'm like, what the? I called the doctor the next day, and she said, oh, we just gonna have to adjust. I said, you ain't adjusting nothing. I said, I won't be taking any of the medicine. I'll just manage it on my own.
Because Wayne, you said some valuable information there, because a lot of times we take medicine, and like Diva said also, we take it, but then it contradicts with something else that we're taking. So Diva, if all the pharmacies and hospitals can get one single platform to say this is what this person is taking, it would really help to not have those mix-ups. Thank you, Wayne, for that. I want to read this comment, and then I'm going to come over to I think Savannah. Did you go yet? Savannah, you there?
No, ma'am. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
so
No, ma'am, I haven't gone yet.
So Brandon Martin said this. She says, hi, Diva. I'm a pharm tech and I'm in nursing school. Erin is spot on. I finished OB nursing clinicals yesterday. Okay. She said, we have to know everything about pregnancy meds to keep mom and baby safe. Thanks, panel. And again, your jobs as pharmacies are thank you, Holy Spirit. Every person's job is important.
Absolutely.
You can be a construction worker. Your job is important. You're building homes. You need to make sure they withstand. So everybody's jobs are important, you know, to the process. But thank you so much for that comment. Go ahead, Savannah. Let's hear your commentary on this.
Thank you, Juice, for bringing this conversation to the panel tonight. I think it's an important one. The relationship with your pharmacist is just as important as the relationship with your medical professional, with your doctor. And I'm one that because these pharmacies, they try to the doctor will prescribe you something and they'll give you the generic form of that medication. And and these names are long and sometimes even hard to pronounce. So I immediately pull out the Google, or I pull out my phone and look it up. What is this? What does it do? Is this what my doctor prescribed? What is the dosage? And Erin, thank you for bringing her up tonight, because she did give some great information.
Yes.
I have used CVS before. I'm not a fan of their system, but Walmart, it tends to be my go-to pharmacy, because they will not even hand me over my prescription, even if it's something that I've taken before and used to, like Motrin 800 for migraines. They will pull it to the side and say, "Move to the side." The pharmacy, the pharmacist will come and talk to you. And so I just go to the next window and wait for the pharmacist to go over the medication with me. And Walmart does that constantly. But CVS does not. I actually know someone who works at CVS as a cashier, no medical background whatsoever, young lady. And she is sometimes put to work in the pharmacy because they're overwhelmed. And I
Wow.
asked her, I was like, isn't that scary? You could be, how do you handle medications and make sure you're giving out? And she went through the process. There's a number on the bag or whatever, and that's how they match it up with the system. But it's just, I think it's a reckless system. It's a system set up to fail. And I don't trust the CVS pharmacy because of that. And I prefer to go to Walmart because they make me stand there and talk to the pharmacist and so he knows, or they know, that I understand what I'm about to put in my body, dosage, steps explained by my physician. But it's unfortunate. I think as patients and as we get older, our pills get multiple and more and plenty. And we just have to question. I'm one that questions. I don't take any form of narcotics. I'll deal with the pain. But you're going to have to explain something to me. I'm not just going to take, and I understand there's been many cases as well of right bottle, wrong medication inside the bottle. So that is no fault of their own. My heart breaks for her. And I pray that she can find some justice, because CBS is washing their hands. Not my fault. Not my fault. So it's unfortunate.
It is. It is. Thank you so much. I'm going to come up to Diva after I read this comment. She says, this is Handy B. Hey, Handy B. She says, not to mention, Diva, we have to think about how uneducated the PTS are, the patients are with different med forms. They may have said suppository and the patient heard sublingual, and maybe believe that med came in different forms. Diva, go ahead. You had a comment you were going to do.
Yeah, I was going to say that this is so layered, right?
It is. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's so later in so many ways, shape, or form. And Handy B said a lot, because there's some patients that they don't have the capacity. Like, they didn't go to medical school. They're not ones to Google. And you also have to watch what you Google, because see, Google, anybody can put something on Google and it will pop up when you do the search. So our doctors used to tell people in the hospital all the time, if you didn't go to a medical site, please don't come to me with this was treated with that, and the other, right? Like I have 20 years experience. Unless you go to a reputable medical site when you're looking up your condition, don't come to me with this Google nonsense, because you got to watch what you Google. Because Google, and sometimes it'll be what I put out there because I was mad saying XYZ and this happened to me. And no medication reacts the same in everybody's body, right? So it's
Right.
you do have to do a mixture of your due diligence. You do have to understand, okay, what is my body going through? What's the process? And then if you are on the medication already, you may say, okay, well, this is not how my pill normally looks. But then you got the problem with sometimes initially your insurance company paid for the brand name of the medication, but now they changed it. So the pharmacy had to give you the generic. And the generic doesn't have the same color or the same look as the brand name. So
Right.
it's so much that goes on with this situation. And I will also say this, especially when you're raising young kids, you always, sometimes you can't just go to the same pharmacy all the time, right? I always tell everybody, hey, make sure you know where your 24-hour pharmacy is in your area, in your regular pharmacist. Because in the middle of the night, if you got to take a kid to an urgent care, this, that, and the other, and you got to get a prescription for an antibiotic, this, that, and the other, even a lot of the urgent cares, they will tell you where some 24-hour pharmacies are so that you can get your prescription right away. Also for children, they do a thing where if it did come in pill form, some pharmacies are able to crush it and make it a liquid form. So that's why I'm saying that, and some of them also, when they have a liquid form of a medication for the kids that can't swallow or whatever the case may be, they will add flavor to it so that, now it tastes a little great for the kid. So the kid will take the medication and swallow it. So you know what? That's why I'm saying the onus is on the pharmacy, the one that is giving you the medical professional. Like, hey, look, this is what your doctor ordered. This is what I'm giving to you. It looks this way for XYZ reason. Your pharmacy does not cover brand name of this medication. The brand is going to cost you $300. The generic will cost you your $25 copay. I do have to check with your doctor to see if he's okay with me switching you over to the generic brand. So it's so much that goes into it and that you need to know. But the first education should come from that pharmacist after the doctor has spoken to you. Then you could go home and relook stuff up and figure things out. But that first education, the person who's handing you over that med.
All right now. All right. Minister Deborah Davis, thank you so much for this. She says, I love how you all keep it lit with informative information to help us and our loved ones. A very important and much needed topic to be discussed. And it is. And you all are having beautiful comments. I'm sorry I can't read them all on tonight, but I'm trying to do my best to put them all on screen because I love making sure that you're aware that we see your words. I'm a firm believer in that. Your words are important. So even though you're not on panel, you're in the chat, your words are important. So I do my very best to make sure I get them on the screen. If I miss any, please, I apologize. Go ahead and just hit copy, paste, put it back in there, and I will put it on there during the process. Let's go on over to where are we at now? We got to go over to, I think Denzel has been waiting a while. Denzel and then Nikki G. And thank you, in my opinion, for joining us. Denzel, go ahead. You're up.
How you doing, Juice and Diva, everybody? How y'all doing?
Good.
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just want to ask, make sure, was she pregnant?
They said that she had the embryos and she was getting ready. She was doing IVF. I don't know how that whole process goes, but I noticed that they did not have certain words in here. They said that the medication, who was given medication that terminated her early pregnancy. I don't know the process and all that because I don't know how IVF rolls.
Okay. Well, that's messed up. That happened to her, and I'm sorry that happened to her. And these pharmacies, they need to pay attention before they give that medication to that person, because that person is, they going to the pharmacy and they giving them their prescription, and then they give her the wrong stuff, and it's like, what are they doing? And it's like, they went to school to be a pharmacist, and then they messed up and they gave her the wrong prescription. I understand that she didn't, look or pay attention to it, but that was not her fault. That was their fault. They are the professionals. They supposed to make sure she got the right stuff. So, I hope they lost they license, and I hope they lost their job for that. From that, because that's really messed up, and she needs to sue them because that wasn't right. That wasn't right.
The sad part is there's a time limit on suing for that, and she missed that time limit. So unfortunately, she's not able to sue. This article that I pulled up did say on here that Las Vegas woman undergoing IVS to expand her family was mistakenly given abortion medication, not fertility medication, by her local pharmacy, terminating her pregnancy in its early stages. And it did have a comment from her that said they just K my baby. Tamika Thomas told 8 News, both my babies, because I transferred 2 embryos. So this is, oh my goodness, a lot. Let me go ahead and go over to, who did I say was up next? Because we're playing. I think it was Nikki. Are you here still?
I think she left. Oh no, there
Okay.
she goes. There she goes.
There you go, Nikki. What would you like to add to this?
Well, I didn't hear the whole conversation, but of what I heard, it sounds like someone was given the wrong medication and it damaged or destroyed their pregnancy. Is that correct?
It says here, the article, the headline says, pharmacy accidentally gives abortion pill to woman undergoing IVF. That mistook took something from me, she's saying. She said that she had both her embryos that were transferred, they destroyed, and says her pregnancy was terminated during the early stages.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I'll say this. I worked in my other life at a Walgreens during Hurricane Harvey. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it hit our city really bad years back. And I remember I was an assistant manager, and whenever the pharmacy that I worked at had I would say high volume, so it was like 1,000 scripts a day, which to me is out of bounds. And then they would have me come back there because we were slammed all the time, and do basically what the techs do. And I didn't have any, expertise or training or anything like that. I just had the education, if that makes sense, to be an assistant manager. So therefore, they had me work back there. But the reason I bring that up is because my mom passed from cancer some years ago. But my problem with it is, and I don't know how to fix this problem, but I feel like anybody can go to a pharmacy and pick up your medication. If it's a certain type of medication, they'll do one or two things. Either if it's like something with like a narcotic, then they need your driver's license, kind of make sure you're not some, I guess, person out here drug seeking or whatever. Or if it has special instructions, typically the pharmacist will come over and say, hey, do you know, da 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 da. Basically, to put themselves out of harm's way, they're going to ask you to make sure that you understand, what you shouldn't do or should do with this particular medication. Like, does it need to be refrigerated, so on and so forth. But
right.
But my issue has always been, I'm just like, how do I know? Because they don't ask me for my driver's license whenever I was going to get my mom's prescriptions. They just ask the address and the name. So I'm just kind of like, I do think it's random. Who's going to just randomly know her name and address and all that? So I get on some level why it's like not the worst thing in the world. But I remember last year I had surgery like on the 28th of December. And I sent my friend to go get my medication from the pharmacy. And I only bring that up because they gave her the wrong prescription. It wasn't that it wasn't prescribed to me, but it wasn't the medication I needed post-surgery, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, and then the pharmacy closed. So the medication that I actually needed, like Diva was said, right. They ran out of it. And then you have to go get a new prescription from a doctor because of the type of drug it was, and then have them send it. So anyway, long story short, I just think they need to fix that system of who you're giving the medication to. And the other thing too is, whenever I would give medications when I worked in the pharmacy, the only thing I was really asked to verify was the name of the person that had the prescription and their address. And that's it. And so you don't know what you're picking up. Now, I because I've worked in hospital, I'm a little more diligent, but also because years ago, I'm allergic to caffeine, and people, I've said this before on Diva's channel. I'm like, stop trying to kill me with caffeine. And I remember leaving the ER, and I told them, because they always ask you, do you have an allergy to anything, right? And I'm like, I do technically, but a lot of times it's not a medication. So my allergy is caffeine, but they do put caffeine in certain medications. So like if you get Excedrin, or if you get like that BC powder. Anyway, I know all of them because I'm trying not to die. So I don't know.
I love that.
I'm trying to stay alive. Let me say it like
that's
that.
right, girl. Stay alive, girl. You need to know what your body can take and what your body cannot take. Aaron said this. Let me do this real quick. Aaron said, I understand blaming the pharmacist, and the pharmacist is responsible, but I think it is important to hold the companies themselves responsible that are understaffing these pharmacies, especially CVS. And I agree, Aaron. I actually agree with you. Now, I rarely don't agree with you, girl, because you're so smart and brilliant. But I agree with that wholeheartedly. Nikki, let me go ahead and give you a few more seconds, Go ahead and got a couple of more minutes, and then I'm going to come over to in my opinion. My apologies for cutting you off, Nikki. Go ahead.
No worries. All I was going to say is, when you have an allergy, what happened to me, this was years ago, when, you tell them at the hospital, this is what I'm allergic to. And I don't think people readily know. I know because I'm allergic to it. So I go read everything, and I know special words mean caffeine, like energy, stuff like that. But I remember leaving the hospital and told them specifically, I'm allergic to caffeine. And then they gave me medications. The prescription was full of caffeine. So I'm at home, like trying to figure out, why am I sick? And then you read it. And that's why I really read all of the, those pamphlets they give you. It has a lot of information in there. It can really scare you, in my opinion. But it made me aware of what's going on and what side effects I can look at. But I think reading it, to some people, I would say I was one of them. You just really trust your doctor, and you trust the pharmacy, because technically I think the pharmacist is technically a doctor. And so it's just kind of like, you're not thinking that they're going to make those type of mistakes. So that's it.
And I agree with you, Nikki. I am one that, I have now realized I was wrong for not reading that paperwork. But thank God I have a wonderful husband that reads every piece of mail or paperwork that comes in this house.
That's my husband.
Everything. And he will read it. And before, I was trying to throw it away, and he grabbed it from my hand. He says, no, let me read this before you take this. So I am so grateful to God that I have somebody that's watching over me, a wonderful husband of mine. And Diva did point this out. She says they do date of birth now. And yes, when you go in, they're asking for your name, your date of birth. I have picked up medications for my husband and vice versa. And they don't ask you for your ID. They just ask you for your name and date of birth. And guess what? The person behind you can hear what you're saying. In my opinion, what's your thoughts?
First of all, hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, girl. Hey.
Let me tell y'all. Okay, so when I first heard this story, of course, I did me a deep dive into this case, and I was horrified to hear how this mistake happened. So come to find out, both of the pharmacists that are being accused of this, now one of them did it. They let a lab tech do it, a lab pharmacist do it, and then they didn't double check. And so they're being held accountable. Here's the thing. When you pass off a duty that you're supposed to do to somebody else that doesn't have the capabilities or the responsibility to do the job, then it falls on you. And for the life of me, I can't imagine what it feels like for this lady, because this was her last chance to have another child. So I can't for the life of me understand how she feels. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted a big family. I got a big family. She wanted a big family, and she wanted to expand her family. And this was her last shot. And I hate that shot was taken away from her. I hate how this turned out. But this should be a tale to everybody. When you get your prescriptions, check stuff for yourself. Check the labels. Make sure it's the right medication. I always do take a picture of my prescriptions when I get it back. If it don't say the right name, then I'm looking through the booklet to see if it's the same or it's a generic of it. Like, I do that for a purpose of that I don't want to have to take something that I don't need or not supposed to take. I have health problems that could cause me to, stop breathing. So I have to be careful with the medications I take. And I know that. So I've always been like that. And it's been like that since I was a kid. can't run around, can't play like that with other kids. And I pushed myself to the limit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was one of them people that was like, you can't tell me I can't do something. I'm going to find a way to do it anyway. And I would always push it to the max, right there over the edge. And I think I got a thrill out of it until it hit me one day that, hey, you can die from taking these, chances.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I tend to err on the side of caution now. I guess, when you're younger, you feel like you can do anything. But when you get older, you realize that everything you've done when you were younger will put a toll on your body. So
It
all the
does.
stuff that I was doing, I was only wrecking my lungs even more. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, I do. Thank you, in my opinion. Diva, I'm going to come up to you. I think you have a comment. After I read this comment, let me pass it back to Diva. Gwendolyn Kutcher. Thank you so much, Gwendolyn, for being here. She's a faithful subscriber to the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Thank you so much. She says, I read the side effects. One of my new meds side effect had the big M word. I freaked out and then I had an anxiety attack. You have to read the side effects. I told doctor I'm not taking this. Yes, read those side effects. Go ahead, Diva.
So the tech can do the job, right? That's what they for. That's what the pharmacy tech is for. That's what they're trained to do. So, because it's not like anybody's making meds, right? They do mix meds when it's necessary. There's some antibiotics that they don't get activated until the patient actually give it to somebody and the patient actually needs it, right? So, but they're supposed to double check it, right? So after the tech does it, they bring it over to the pharmacist and say the prescription is XYZ. This, it's supposed to be 10 pills. And they make sure that it is 10 pills and it is what it's supposed to be. And then once the pharmacist signs off on it, it's supposed to be good to go. Those pharmacists, what they didn't do was they didn't check it. They didn't sign off on it. But then the other fallout came is if they would have at least educated on it. That's why they have all these steps. Then even if they didn't do that, it would have got caught at that particular point. So yeah, techs, they are trained and that's what they go to school for. So yes, they can do that. I will say this. Of course, we all know this, but I'll just put this out there. Is every CVS horrible? No.
No.
Like Erin came up here and said, there are many pharmacies that have gotten sued over this particular situation of giving the wrong med, of packaging the wrong thing. So that is why you have these checks and balances in place. There's another story. Again, this one happened to be CVS, but as I was doing this, when Juice had called me, it's so many things popped up with people getting the wrong med. I had to stop looking because I almost passed out. I mean, it was story after story after story. I'm talking in the hospital. I know a family member personally where they was given a medication in the hospital that burned them from the inside out. Family sued and won the lawsuit. Burnt them from the inside out. So it's like these people make mistakes and things happen. And to me, you should pay. Why I have to do more research to find out why her statute of limitations was so small. I want to try to look into that because I think it's sad. That lawyer for CVS was arrogant and was adamant about the not putting responsibility on the on CVS but on the pharmacist. And I also want to know why they only got fined $10,000, which seems like nothing.
They said that was the max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to, like, that is insanely crazy. It's like, so $10,000. But I will say this, and just because the male pharmacist wasn't crying, he looked distraught also.
Yes.
It just, I'm sure they were devastated to know that you made this mistake. But that's why, as a healthcare professional, let me tell you something. I did 12-hour shifts, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At one time, I worked 7 p. to 7 a. I never was a night person. I got off that shift quick, fast, in a hurry. But when I worked 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I did not play around with my sleep. Okay. I made sure I got 8+ hours sleep. I never went to work tired. I did not hang out before. I was never really a partier anyway, but I didn't party before my shifts. I did nothing. I missed out on a lot of holidays, a lot of events because I didn't play around with that because I had somebody else's life in my hands. Now, when you're doing a job where it's paperwork, you know, all right, whatever. I mean, you know, you can always correct the paper, but you ain't going to be going to bring a life back. I did not play when it came to somebody else's life. I never did, and I never would, and never will. And that's why those individuals, when they're working short, that is why they out there on the picket line, because you know what? It's somebody's life.
Yes.
Somebody's life. Like, you can't work short. But in those situations, you got to speak up. Oh, I was loud and proud and clear. You're not giving me 7 patients because I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way on this earth that I can really give attention to 7 patients. And you know, they would love to tell us how, oh, before the patients aren't really sick. Well, why are they here? Why? They would love to tell you that. Oh, you got 4 of them and not really sick, and the other 3, you know, no. They all sick, or then send them home, discharge them. But I was not going to be sitting there with 7 patients because you could barely get to the rooms. And then if you got 1 patient that's really sick, you stuck in that room.
Wow.
So I think even as a whole, I think somebody had put it in the chat earlier, we got to fight. I think it might have been Aaron. These people are overworked. No excuse, but it's sad. They're overworked. They don't have enough staff. And they're dealing with medications, which means in turn, they're dealing with a life. When you have time, Juice, I do have another quick video. This one is quick. It's only 1 minute, 55 seconds.
Yes.
See, you ready?
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead. Yes, I'm ready. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that over. Robin had this comment, and then go ahead and cue up your video while you're doing that. Robin said, meds are tricky. I was prescribed a medication that resulted in me being diagnosed with cancer. And those side effects are real. And go ahead, Diva. Let me know when you have that. And I'm going to go ahead
and share.
Yes.
Yep, this is one. This is it. Okay. Did it share? Oh.
Here it is. Let me pop it up over here. There you go.
All right. All right, let me play.
$5,000 after she claimed she was given the wrong prescription. That woman tells KPRC2's Rowan Belogan she didn't notice it was the wrong medicine until she took it. It's an interview you'll only see on 2.
CVS disputes this happened at all at this Angleton location. However, they didn't deny offering the woman a payment settlement.
I entrusted my pharmacy to give me the correct medication.
This woman says how she picks up her prescription from the pharmacy completely changed after she claimed she was given the wrong medication, but she didn't realize it until after she took it.
I became stiff and couldn't move for several hours. So it was horrifying feeling to feel that I couldn't call for help. I was all alone.
CVS disputes her claim, saying both meds were written for her and their pharmacy filled it correctly. However, they did send her this statement paperwork offering her $5,000. In return, she would agree, quotes, the amount of money paid in settlement shall be kept confidential and not disclosed to any other person or persons except if under court order. The pharmacy spokesperson said, in the interest of customer service, we engage with our patients in response to her request for compensation. You didn't sign it.
No, I didn't.
Why is that?
I felt a duty to speak out for others, to be aware of what they're picking up from their pharmacy.
The woman tells me she's coming forward now to advise other people to double, even triple check their prescriptions whenever they pick it up at a pharmacy. Reporting from Angleton, Roman Belogan, KPRC 2 News.
Bayou City Art Festival is back.
How sad is that? I wanted to show that one to see how simple it is, where she didn't check until she took it, like the other woman, and she started having symptoms that just didn't seem right. And then she found out, oh my gosh, I got the wrong medication. And CVS is messy as I don't know what. Shut your mouth, take this $5,000, but we didn't do nothing, but you can have $5,000 even though we didn't do nothing. Where they do that at? You're muted, Juice. You're muted.
Thank you. And that $5,000 is going to go to that hospital bill plus more that you have to do to get yourself back together.
Mm-hmm.
So this little money they're giving you is not even staying in your pocket. It's going to other stuff. Nikki, she had in the private comment, and I'll go ahead and let you know. She said, "How did I get on one channel? Is the other? We're sharing. So that's how that happened, Nikki." I want to say this. I want to say this also. My husband had an incident where the doctor prescribed him a new medicine, and of course, we were like millions and billions of other people. We trusted a doctor. He went ahead and took it. We were at a friend's house one day, and my husband was standing in our friend's kitchen, and all of a sudden he was like, something isn't right. And we were like, what's going on? And his legs gave out. He couldn't stand up. And my friend and my husband, we picked him up, and he was like, I can't stand up. And we rushed him to the hospital. And I tell you, thank God, I truly believe it was an angel in disguise of a nurse, because when we got my husband into the room after being in the emergency area, we got him in the room. This gentleman came in, and he was so funny. The nurse, he said, "My name is Nurse Ratchet," and he just starts laughing, making us laugh. And he says, "Tell me what's going on." And he looked at my husband. He said, "I know exactly what's going on." He says, "You're on a new prescription?" And my husband was like, "Yeah." And he told my husband, he says, "Yeah, I know." And he started giving my husband stuff in IV and all this and everything. And instantly, within an hour, my husband started getting feeling back in his legs. Well, what happened was, I can't remember the name of the medicine my husband was given, but he was given some sort of medicine, and it just took it was like a muscle relaxer. Just he couldn't move. He couldn't move his legs and all that. And the nurse said that if he had not gotten to the hospital, then his whole body would have been where he was just, not able to move. So when you get a new medicine, side effects are very important to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why now my husband is a big person to say, listen, he's like, we're going to read, what is this? What's the side effects? What is the side effects of this? And I do that before I even pick up a prescription. If my doctor prescribes something to me while I'm talking to her, I will say, what are the side effects? And if she's too busy to give me all the side effects, I will go to Google. And like somebody said in a comment, I think it was Latoya, said, go to WebMD, look for the side effects. I do, but I will Google a whole bunch of different places to find out what are the side effects. It's very, very, very important. Let me turn it back over to you, Deepa.
Well, you know what? It's just so much good information here. And I think, what we really want to let everybody know is definitely, check your meds.
Yes.
Check your meds. And listen, everything has side effects, right? And you got to weigh out too sometimes. So it's no one answer, right? It's like not an end all be all. You got to weigh out too. Well, is possibly getting this side effect versus me not taking it at all. What do I do here, right? Because even if you look at Tylenol, you look at Motrin, side effects. There's side effects, and the side effects is just as nasty. Also, on all medications, they usually have a 1-800 number, right? And you can also report. Once, of course, your first thing is making sure that you're okay, and then once you're okay, you can report to that 1-800 number. That's how they get side effects on these meds anyway, because they get clinical trials, right? And the clinical trial said, okay, well, when these people took it, they got stomach cramps, they got this, they got that. But you know what? The benefits outweigh the side effects, and that's why the drug is still on the market. So, you call in and say, wait a minute, when I took XYZ med, I couldn't walk on my foot anymore, whatever. So then that way they can update it. And they will add that, after they do some research or whatever, they will add that as one of the possible side effects. And then a lot of times the way some drugs get taken off the market is because they got too many phone calls. Thousands of people called and was like, listen, when I took this, I almost was taken out of this world, so to speak. Right. So now they're getting the side effects to these Ozempic. and Wegovy and all of these weight loss meds. Okay. A lot of people are calling in many of the side effects. A lot of them are saying that you just at a certain point, no wonder you losing weight because you just forget to eat. You got to remind yourself. Literally, some of these people are setting alarms, reminding themselves to eat.
Wow.
Remind
Wow.
to eat. So it's a mixture of you are your own advocate, right? Because there are some doctors, and that's why I encourage everybody, if you do have Netflix, watch that show, Painkillers. It will change your life because you do have some doctors, and I'm not saying all, right? But you got some doctors that they will literally just push every new thing that come out. Oh, you got gas? I got a pill for that. Oh, you got a headache? Let me give you this. Let's give you this for migraines. It's like they're always pushing a medication. The best I can say is do a mixture, do your due diligence. Don't be a diabetic with your A1C out of control, talking about I ain't going to take my insulin. But I would say take your insulin, but also research how do I now eat better so that I can possibly one day or whatever, if that is your story, come off all of these meds. We have to learn how to treat our body better so it can respond better, so we won't end up on a whole bunch of medications, because medications will never heal the situation.
Come on now.
We want to keep it at bay for however long it can at best. Okay. If you have, I know so many people, they have high blood pressure and they're on medication. Well, I'm gonna still eat my fried chicken, my chitlins, my mac and cheese, my this and that, and I'll just, maybe up my blood pressure medication. That's not
Diva, come on now, because I heard fried pork chop when you started saying that.
Come on now. That's not the answer. The answer is take the medication while you're learning how to eat better, do better, and stop pumping all of that food in your mouth that is killing you.
Yes, I love that. Listen, and she segued into what we're going to be coming back, having another topic. The health series that we're doing now, we're collaborating because I believe sharing is caring. Wealth of knowledge is shared most and is best when you share with others. Don't try and do it on your own. Collaboration is important when it comes to topics like this. Thank you so very much, Diva, for this. Thank you so very much. Listen, you guys, this is Regina with the Juice Radio Talk Show, collaborating with the Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. We're here because we want your life to be better. Not only do we want your life to be better, but we want the knowledge that you have to also be something that you can carry to others. Sharing is caring. We're going to have more conversations on this health issue. Diva, I would love for you to just summarize, and we'll go around panel as well. We'll give you guys 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm not like Diva. I don't do 2-3 hour shows.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You got to pray for me on that one. I told them they be holding me hostage.
Listen, I got to hand
everybody there 60 seconds first, and then I end it out.
There you go. There you go. Listen, I'll be like, Diva, you are brave, girl. Listen, and thank y'all for being so patient on the panel here. And thank you all in the chats. Thank you so very much. You guys, please share. Go over to Diva's channel if you're not there. If you're on Diva's channel, come on over here to the Juice and click like, click subscribe, click share. Share this knowledge. Thank y'all again for your patience in the chat and patience on panel. Let's go ahead and do roundtable. We'll go ahead and we'll start over here with Leo Aries. Thank you for your patience. What's your commentary as we close this out?
Thank you so much, Juice, and just call me Leo. And because even know that I'm part of the gray hair tribe, I'm just Leo. Okay, so thank you so much. And I just want to be in my experience, it's one thing I wanted to express to people who do take medication. I had a good girlfriend of mine, the only Black girl I ever knew that was in med school, and I would help her take her pharmacy test, right? Mm-hmm. And because I'm not that brain, but if you give me that information, I will repeat it back to you to make sure you know it. And the thing she made it very important to me was medication is done to work in conjunction with things. You don't short your medicine. You don't overtake your medicine. You do it exactly as prescribed. Mm-hmm. And the first thing about that is making sure you have the correct medication. And we have to be our own advocates. Mm-hmm. Be your own advocate for yourself, your health, the well-being of yourself, and the well-being of the ones that you love.
Thank you so much, Leo. Beautiful. In my opinion, come on down to you for your closing thoughts.
Um, so I do know a thing about this. Let me tell you something. Last year, I was on two different high blood pressure medicines. Okay. And so I did the research. Okay. And I realized because at the time I was taking like 15 different medications. That's a lot to put in your body. And it
Yeah.
was getting me to the point where I was suffering bad with my depression. And so I had to say, something got to go. So I say that to say, when you get other areas in your life right, some of those health issues that you're suffering with will automatically deter. So thankfully, for the last 8 months, I've not been on no blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
I've lost over 60 pounds. I try to do right by myself because there's some issues that I can't correct. Like, of course, I can't make my lungs be at full capacity because they just don't. I can't do nothing about that. I can't do nothing. Well, I'm checking into this overactive bowel because I ain't know I can go see a urologist, but my doctor, he is on it. Have an amazing doctor too. But I'm just saying you have to kind of be an advocate for yourself and know when you're tired because I had to tell my doctor, like, look, I'm tired of all these medications. I can't keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? I hate to have to take medication like that. So I say all that to say, please do what you got to do for yourself. And that can require you to research. And like I said, whenever I see something that I want to go after, I research it to the last bit. So if you're suffering with depression, high blood pressure, whatever it is, research it. And you'll find ways to lower whatever that problem is, even if it's diabetes. Most of it is weight. And most of your weight comes from some form of mental health in some ways, and then some of it is food. Our vaccination with food is really weird. So just do what you have to do. Like you don't have to cut it completely out, but you should cut it down to where it's not overload. Like you don't have to have everything fried for it to taste good. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you, in my opinion, and congratulations on your journey. You are that example. I love that. Come on now. I love that. Savannah, you're up. What's your closing thoughts?
Well, geez, first I want to thank you and Miss Diva for bringing information that I think our community definitely needs. The other night we had a great discussion on the in my opinions channel, and this one tonight is just refreshing that we can not only do we enjoy the drama and the mess of reality TV and hot topics, but it's also just as important to educate our communities and share these stories and just share our knowledge as well. So I thank you for bringing this to the panel tonight. I can't wait to see the young spelt curvy. In my opinion, I definitely want to see this new you. So congratulations on that as well. But thank you again, and a lot of great knowledge shared tonight that I think we need to hear. Be vigilant, ask questions, and we are our best advocates. So take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Savannah. And thank you so much for those kind, caring words. We do have to get more information on health and knowledge. Thank you so much for that. But we also we like the drama. We like the little drama with the little shady stuff too. We do, but we're gonna get our souls healthy too. Thank you so much for that. Dustin, what's your closing thoughts?
I just want to say, appreciate you having us live tonight, you and Diva, and bringing the news that we need to hear about on the panel tonight. Even though it is sad, but we still need to hear about it. And I think there need to be a lot of change with all the pharmacies, and they need to, especially CVS, they need to have some kind of justice for that poor woman. And I appreciate I appreciate you, Diva, and Juice Radio Talk Show. Congratulating on this live tonight. I appreciate it so much.
Dustin, I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much for your support on both our channels. You love both of us. And I love when you come on my channel and you come on panel and you say, I got to go. Diva's about to come on. And I'll be like, go on now, get over there to your girl. Go on to your girl. I'm going to be there shortly. I love it. I love it. Nikki, what's your closing thoughts on this?
I agree. Diva's his first love, and she's nobody else can take her spot. He's gonna make sure
And I ain't
that
mad. I ain't even mad.
I just
I
feel
celebrate
like
it.
it's the chakra drop.
Oh,
Anyways, I would say I am not anti-medication, even though I know that's a $1 billion industry, because my pain, listen, I have a low tolerance for pain. So I'm like, please give me whatever medication so sis can stay out of pain. But I prefer to do it the natural way, as long as it don't taste bad. I just wish we could get it right more. You know, I wish that there were more infrastructures in place to make sure situations like this don't happen. But at the end of the day, as many computer systems we can put into place and all that kind of stuff, you're still always going to have the human element. And the reason I bring that up is because, like, when I used to have staff that had to give our patients medication, we trusted them. You know, you train them, and then they're there with the patients or the people to give them that medication. And it's no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody who isn't paying attention. There's going to be somebody who's going to slip up and make a mistake. And even though this is totally different what you guys are talking about, I'm just saying, I wish that there was more training, and even little bitty things. Like, I remember we implementing putting, you know, like, it's computerized. I think it's like that in most hospitals, like the medication, you can just scan it, and that's supposed to be able to make sure you give the right person the right medication at the right time, the right amount, and whatever else. But, you know, in the real world, when you have a staff in a home, like I was saying, it's a little different. You know, you don't have the nurses there all the time, or you don't have the oversight of a manager and all that. So it's a gigantic, horrible situation that needs a lot of attention. But a lot of times it's like a broken centipede. You know what I mean? Like, well, a whole bunch of broken legs, and it's like, where do you start? Do you start at the hospital? Do you start in education at the university? Like, should we inform all the patients? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's almost like you need all of it at once. So, but
Well, we're
anywho,
gonna find a way. Well, thank you, Nikki. We're gonna find a way to get that centipede fixed, because, you know, centipede, I don't know which one can get into that cocoon and get into there and get some healing and change into a whole beautiful butterfly. So we need to get this thing so it can change and become something better. Thank you, Nikki, for that beautiful commentary. I'm gonna come over to you, Denzel. What's your closing thoughts on this? And thank you so much, Keisha, for the beautiful comment.
Well, thank you, Juice and Dear, for this topic. This was an awesome topic, and yeah, we need to hear more of that. But yeah, so the pharmacies, they need to make sure they pay attention. You know, giving people the right medication, and people that is taking the medication read the side effects. You know, just to be careful. And that's it. I love you, Juice, Diva, everybody. I love y'all, and y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love you too, Denzel. I appreciate you so very much. Diva, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Gwendolyn, thank you for this beautiful comment. She's hugging everybody in the comments. Thank you so very much. Thank you again. Diva, I'm going to go ahead and let you close it out, giving us some closing thoughts on this. And thank you again for being here.
Of course. We looking like sisters tonight. Listen, right? The glasses, the color, the skin. Come on now. Listen, I want to say this. Come on. I think a big message that we all got tonight is, one, definitely, double check your meds. Ask for education at the pharmacy, right? Don't be afraid to question. Even if you got it before, if it looks different, say, this looks different. I usually take a red pill. My pill is usually smaller. A lot of times, even when patients used to come to the hospital, they'd be like, well, this is what? Because it doesn't usually look like this, the one I take at home, right? At the very least, saying that, it'll give the people a stop to say, okay, well, wait a minute, which one was you taking at home? So forth and so on. So I just say, have a 24-hour pharmacy in addition to your regular pharmacy. And maybe your 24-hour pharmacy is your regular pharmacy, right? So just have both, because you never know when you're going to need a pharmacist in the late wee hours of the morning, right? Double check your med, question your doctor, and get information, read the insert, and to the best of your knowledge, because also the pill, sometimes it does have written on there really small. It may say the milligram, it may say something. So even before you stick the pill in your mouth, just see what it says, if it says anything on there. And Obi did make a good point. I suggest to no one, no way, no how, that just on your own stop a med. Consult with your doctor, because stopping a med abruptly can also wreak havoc on your body. And listen, heart disease is brutal. It can lead to stroke. You can stroke out. So definitely, if you have high blood pressure, you don't want to just say after 2 weeks of eating together and your blood pressure came down, like you're going to stop your meds. You don't want to do that, okay? Cholesterol issues, heart issues wreak havoc on your body. And the last thing you want to do is stroke out. So listen, guys, I'm so glad that we did this show together today, Juice. I do appreciate you. It's always great to collaborate with you. Just good energy, good person. I love you much. So thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much, Diva. And you know that love is right back at you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your panel. They're the best. I love them. I love being in the comments on your videos and just cracking up at all the fun love. You guys can fight and argue and still come back and love. And that's what it's about, having the tough conversations, but still having the loving panel. And thank you so very much for your knowledge that you've added to this. Thank you so very much. You guys, thank you all for being here. Now, Diva and I will be doing more of these collaborations, you guys. We'll be doing more. You have to hit that notification bell because we're not sure if we're going to put this on a regular time frame or what. We're working that out. We wanted to do this first test run. Thank you all for being here with us. But we will let you know it is a very important topic, and I believe we need to keep this up. Thank you all for being here.
Once again, thank you all for having the live tonight. We all needed to be up to date on what's going on with the CVS. So thank you for you and Diva, and thank you for everybody on the panel for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Dustin. All right. Now, as we say in the church sector, if all hearts and minds are clear, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, okay? Everybody's good?
We're good.
All right. On the count of three, we're going to say good night. Already? 1, 2, 3.
Good night.
Bye.
A heartfelt thank you to all of our subscribers who joined us for this video. If you have not already subscribed, go to our YouTube channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. Subscribe and click on the notification bell to be alerted whenever we go live. Join our private Juice community. Go to www.thejuicecommunity.com and sign up for free. Join us, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. We have our Money Monday financial series. It is a lunch and learn program at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. Also on Monday, we have our reality series and hot topics at 7 p.m. Wednesdays, we have Bible study at 7:30 p.m. Thursdays, we have church news at 7:30 p.m. We also offer motivational moments, happy marriage lifestyle, news from a godly perspective, movie reviews, as well as our single moms club, Let's Talk Ex-Millennials, and of course, our Cooking with Clovis. Follow us on our podcast channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast, streaming on all podcast platforms. A great big thank you to our podcast production company, Noye Podcast Productions. They can help you create your own podcast also. Contact them today at houseofnoye.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Custom Apparel Shop. Have them complete your embroidery work and silk screening needs. Do you need a logo created for your fashion apparel or company? Contact Israel Mason today. That is 786-657-7501. Thank you to our main sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries. Truth and Triumph Ministries, a ministry that cares about telling people the truth so they can triumph in life. Thank you, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for all you do.